Welcome to the FWOT Show on the Coil Entertainment Network, pointing out idiocy, one story at a time. I'm Rob Steele, that's Jesus Jones in the background, and the good news, I suppose, is that the government shutdown is over. The bad news is that the shutdown deal included a 30% tariff on solar panels. Now, solar employs more people in the United States than coal and oil combined. So the estimate is that the deal they made to stop the government shutdown is going to cost about 23,000 jobs in the U.S. this year. And that's what we get for having Exxon CEO as Secretary of State. And you Trump supporters keep thinking Hillary is crooked. At least she's not trying to kill the planet. Oh, incidentally, I saw this story floated around online. I thought it was a great idea. If the GOP wants this damn wall so bad, why don't they just start a GoFundMe site? That way, we don't have to pay for it. Whoever wants to pay for it can pay for it. Then you know what? They'll build it and find out it really is just as useless as everyone thinks it is, and it was a waste of money. But in this case, it won't be our money, because we're too smart for that. Anyway, speaking of the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious sexist lying POTUS, yes, I stole it, but it works, so I'm going to use it. Yeah, my song doesn't work very well with it, but that's not the point. Do you remember last week when we talked about how Donnie Trump paid a porn star, whose name was Stormy Daniels, by the way? He paid her $130,000 to hide their affair. You remember that? Information has come to light that the day after he paid her, the Trump campaign transferred $130,000 to Trump Tower Commercial LLC. Coincidence? You know what? I'll go ahead and say it. No. Incidentally, I wanted to ask this. Trump is headed to a summit at Davos in the Swiss Alps. And I'm wondering if anyone else read the headlines that simply say Trump headed to Davos and thought, yeah, he's going to meet with the Destroy the Education System Secretary. Who cares? I guess that's what we get for not being geographically inclined. Two children were killed and 19 more injured in Marshall County High in Benton, Kentucky. That makes the 11th school shooting this year. By January 23rd, I'm sure more have happened since then. 11 already, because, there isn't a gun problem in this country. Right. Now, what did Donald Trump say about this? Nothing. Didn't even tweet. Why? Because the attacker was not Muslim, and he was white. Spectacular. Well, that might explain why the U.S. has dropped in the best countries of the world list to number 8. Since Donnie took office, that's 2 spots we've dropped. Wonderful. And of course, it's not the guns or the lack of health care or the environmental policies that screw the planet. No. It's because we can't get the kids to stop eating Tide Pods. Although, if we're honest, if we can't get them to stop doing that, what makes you think we can control guns? Parenting. It's becoming a lost art. Weirdest thing I've heard in a while. Saudi Arabia has a beauty pageant. That's not the weird part. It's a beauty pageant for camels. I never would have guessed such a thing. Well, I'm probably sure I would have come up with it eventually, but not in the first 7,000 or 8,000 things. In the latest contest, if that's what pageants are, 12 of the camels, I'd like to be making this up, 12 of the camels were disqualified because they'd used Botox. I'm pretty sure someone actually used it on them. I can't see camels with needles. It was to give them bigger lips, nose, and jaw so they'd look more like Angelina Jolie. No, because the idea is to make the head look big. And if your camel has a big head, it's prettier, apparently. What the hell do I know? I smoked camels. I never actually paid much attention to the beast itself. Anyway, in more local news, Larry Nassar was sentenced to somewhere between 40 and 175 years for sexually assaulting over 150 women as a gymnastics coach. I'm fairly certain he's not going to last the whole 175 years. Possibly because he smoked Camels at some point, and that's just going to kill him off that much quicker. Especially if they had Botox in them. This past Monday saw the 25th anniversary episode of WWE's Monday Night Raw. Bear with me, this story really has very little to do with wrestling. Before the show happened, it was announced that the Phoenix police are looking at wrestler Enzo Amore for sexually assaulting, possibly even raping a woman in Phoenix. That's not a good thing. Now, he was supposed to be in the 25th anniversary episode wrestling Goldust for some reason, and he showed up wearing a shirt. The front of the shirt said, "Today is the best day of my life." The back of the shirt said, "Can't wait for tomorrow." Right. Well, he showed up on Monday and not only found out that he's been cut from the show, he's been suspended indefinitely. Yeah, best day of his life. Can't wait for tomorrow. What happened tomorrow? Which would have been Tuesday? They fired him. Not because they think he actually raped a woman, but because he didn't tell the WWE that the police were looking into him. So see, kids, tell your parents when something goes wrong, and it won't go as bad for you if you hide it. See, I'm doing parenting things. Next thing you know, I'll be called Ted Hicks and have a show on Wednesday nights. Or something like that. If you have any comments or questions about the show, contact me through, let's say, email, rob@thefwotshow.com. You can email Ted Hicks if you want to. I'm sure he won't mind. Or you can just go to the website, thefwotshow.com. There's buttons for Facebook and Twitter. Contact me through that. And while you're there, click on the buttons for iTunes or the Google Play Store and subscribe to the show. Even subscribe on YouTube. YouTube is a good place to listen to it as well. Have it on in the background while you're at work. I beep things. It's somewhat safe for work-ish. Kind of. Anyway, wanted to thank you for listening, and I'm going to leave you with this. When I was a kid, having your mouth washed out with soap was a punishment, usually for saying something like fuck or shit. See, you can listen at work. I beeped that. Now kids are eating soap on purpose. What the hell happened to parenting? Seriously. Someone please make the idiocy stop.